Welcome to my video on quick Python for everybody to get started. I'm really excited to teach millions of people out there how to write their first code in Python and how to get started with Python. So this video is aimed for everyone, even if you are pro in programming or even if you are getting started with any kind of programming language. I will highly recommend watching this video. So I am using Jupyter notebook, and I will also make a video how to install Python and Jupyter notebook to get started. So let's get started with Python in Jupyter notebook, which is an IDLE and which helps us write code and compile our code and then run on the machine. So first of all, you have to check your Python version and the Python version being used in the Jupyter notebook. Checking the Python version. So the code for this is from platform import Python version and print Python version, and it will the Python. So as I have to call the, so now I have Python 3.9.7. so this is very famous thing to print anything in a programming language, and the first thing we print is hello world. So let's print it in Python. So here you go, hello world has been printed. There are different data types in Python. For example, there are many data types in Python. For example, I can check the data type by writing type. So it's int, so there are different data types. For example, integers, floats, strings, and booleans, and many more data types are in Python. So we can check the data type by writing type. So type, for example, 5.0 would be a float, and type if I write 5 in the inverted commas, then it will become a string. String is treated as character, like I have used here. So as you can see, it's string now. So and there is another data type which is complex number type, and for example 5 plus 2j. So in normal math we use I for iota, but in engineering and in Python it's j instead of I. So this is complex number. Yeah, you can see that the complex number. So in Python 3 we have int, float, and strings and complex numbers. So as you can see that, for example, if in this case, if I give a number to complex number is equal to, and I assign this number, this is an assignment operator. Is equal to is an assignment operator. I am assigning the value to this variable. This is known as a variable. So if I want to print it, I can simply write this, and you can see the value has been assigned to this variable. If I want to check whether what is the real and what is the imaginary part, I can simply check by complex number dot real, and it will tell me the real part is 5. And for example, if I want to check complex number dot imaginary number, and it will tell me the imaginary part, which is 2. And if I need to check complex dot conjugate, it will tell me the conjugate part, which is 5 minus 2j. So this is the conjugate of the complex number. Next, we can, we have already learned that what is an assignment operator. I can assign a value to any operator for any variable. For example, I am going to assign a message. Message is my variable. So here I am looking for a chair. So in the, and now I can print the message. As you can see, it has been printed. For example, if you can also print this message by using single quotes instead of double quotes. You can print it with single quotes. So single quote, and can put a single quote here, and it will still be considered as a string. But what if you have to print, multiple quotes? So it will give an error if you do something like that, for example, and the rest of the line is not considered as a quote in this case. So as you can see, I am trying to print 2, and you can see it's an invalid text. So in order to print that, there is a solution to this problem, and that is we can put double quotes here and double quotes here, and instead of printing, you can now print the single quote in this case, and here you go, you have printed single quote. So I have printed the double quote, I have printed the single quotes, and even I can print all the quotes. For example, use I'm giving my variable name use all quotes is equal to, for example, 1 2 3. So yeah, so I am doing a Python tutorial, for example, and I am good at. So in this case, I have used all the quotes, double quotes, single quote, and still my message will be printed. I can full stop. You can see that if I print this, use all quotes, there you go, everything's there. So you can use triple quotes if you want to print multiple lines, or if you want to use multiple quotes. Otherwise it will throw an error message. So this was a basic introduction about the um, printing, or about making strings in Python. Next, I want to tell you about the arithmetic operation. You can perform arithmetic operation in Python. So let's get started with some arithmetic operations Python. So for example, I can perform 10 minus 4, it will give me 6. I can perform 10 plus 4, it will give me 14. So and so on and so forth. So actually, for example, I can do casting, which I will discuss later. For example, if you have to convert minutes to hours, or you can simply do it like simple maths. For example, 105 minutes, and I want to convert these into hours. So it will be minutes divided by 60. So let's print the hours here. So if I print hours, and I have printed, it is 1.75 hour. So let's say I want to print the quotient only, not the complete decimal equation, only the quotient. I can print the quotient by just putting a double here and double slash here, and it will only print 1. So in this way I have printed the quotient in this case. So I can also get the reminder by minusing the minutes from hours, so that will give me the reminder. But there is an easy way of doing the thing. For example, if I want to get the remainder, so remainder would be equal to minutes minus hours into 60, just to have them in the same units, and remainder, so it's 45. So I can get the remainder directly by simply minutes and simply just putting this percentage sign, and it will directly give me the remainder. So this is known as modulus operator. And let's talk about some Boolean expression in Python. For example, this is a comparison operator. The is equal to sign. For example, 5 is equal to, so it's true. And for example, if I say 5 is equal to 4, it will be false. So, and if I want to see the type of this operator, I can simply write type, and this will tell me Boolean. This Boolean. And for example, you can type bool 1 to get it true, bool 0 will be false, and you can actually, true is always equal to 1 in Python. You can add true plus 5, it will be equal to 6. So just keep that in mind. And you can you can do some casting here. For example, 5 is an integer. You can convert it into float by typing float here. So yeah, we can do it. So it's 5.0. You can convert it into string just by typing string here. So 5 will be, it's a string because it has a single quote around it. So next we will talk about something about rounding off, because let's say we have a number like 5.8844, and I want to round it to 1 digit, so it will be 5.9. So we can use import many inbuilt modules to solve mathematical problems. For example, I can write temporary pi as 3.14, and I can print that temporary pi, and it will be 3.14. but I can do that by simply doing import math. So it will import math. Okay, so I can just simply write math dot pi, and it will give me the value of pi, so I don't have to memorize such things. So I can actually use this math module, math dot square root. So for example, I want to take the square root of 9, it would be 3. So I can do the casting here. Casting is the interconversion of the type. So if I put a bracket and write int, so it will give me 3. So as you can see that for example, I can solve another problem. For example, signal power which is equal to 10, and for example signal power is equal to 10, and noise power is equal to 2. So I want to determine the ratio of signal to noise. So signal power divided by noise power. and I want to convert it into decibels, so decibels, and it will be equal to 10 to math dot log 10 and ratio and print decibels. So I am printing decibels. There you go. So this is how you can use the built-in functions. Next, you can take input from the user. For example, if you want to convert degrees into radian, so for example, degrees is equal to int. You can take int by built-in it would be string. So if you don't put an int here, it will be considered as string. So I will write, please enter the degrees here, and then I have to convert the degrees into radians. Radians is equal to degrees divided by 180 multiplied by math dot phi radians. Here you go. Let's say I enter 50 radian, it will give me the degrees and it will give me the radian. If I put 360 degrees, it will give me and radian. If I put 150 radian, it will give me these values. So I have taken the input from the user. If I want to comment something which will not be considered a part of code, I can add that by typing hash, and I am writing it as taking input from the user, and these are very helpful. So next we will, and we can simply do this by math dot radians, and for example I can write 150 radian and it's given me the same value. So you can see, in order, if I use the built-in functions, I can perform these tasks in just seconds, and I don't have to write those long codes. So next I'm going to tell you about decision making in Python. So I have commented this. So for example, if you want to decide that this number is even or odd, so for example, number is equal to int, I am going to take an input from the user. So input, and please enter any number, and it will be equal to this. Then if number is divisible by 2, and as we have learned the modulus operator, and it gives the value of 0, this is a conversion, this is a comparison operator, and for example I will print number is even. All right, so, and I can write another condition, but I will use else, if or else. Else print number is odd. There is a mistake, so I quotes around this just to make it a string, otherwise it will throw an error. So for example, okay, so it has given me an error because I wrong spelling. So spelling these. So let's say I know 10 is an even number, so it's an even number. I can test 5 is an odd number, it's an odd number. I can write 500, it's an even number. I can try 125, it's an odd number. So yeah, it works. And so we can use the decision making of Python in a very better way. For example, we have a given number which is int input. So input please enter your number here, and after entering the number, if given number is greater than 20, my code should tell that print the number is greater than 20. Obviously the number is greater than 20. So and till if means else if given number is equal to 20, so it should tell the number is 20. So print the number is 20, or else it should tell us the print the number is smaller than the 20. The number is smaller than 20. So my auto compile just compiles everything for me, and for example I'm writing 21, the number is greater than 20, yes. I'm writing 20, the number is 20, yes. I am writing 15, number is less than 15, smaller than 20. So that's a very good thing. Next we are going to learn about chained and unchained conditionals. So chained conditionals, x is equal to int, so input please enter the value of x to the, and y is equal to, but there should be y here. So if x is equal to y, if both numbers are equal, then it should print that x and y are equal. So if x is greater than y, it should print x is greater than y, or else there is only one condition left and we don't need to check for that. Print x is smaller than y. So let's just get started and see if our code works. So I'm writing x as 1, y as 2, so x is definitely smaller than y. X as 4, y as 2, x is greater than y, and I can write both as 2 and this will tell me both are equal. So next I'm going to move towards the loops, and you can see loops. There are two kinds of loops in any programming language. One is for loop and other is while loop. So both are pretty much both work pretty much the same, but there are some certain conditions when we have to use a certain loop. For example, in this case, for example, count is equal to 0, so I'm initiating my variable. For while loop I will be implementing while loop first. While count is greater than 9, while the count is smaller than 9, so it should print the count is, and what is the count, and it should print the variable count which is starting from 0, and I have to increment or increase this value by 1. So count is equal to +1. So this is a way in Python just to add values. So I could have written like count is equal to count +1, but the above method is more concise and more precise, so most of the programming languages use that method. So if the numbers are finished, so print I am outside the loop now. So let's see, yeah, it has printed. So as you can see, I have done a mistake here, I think. So that is, I should have placed +1 before that. So now it's working because the 1 was not being added, so it should be count plus is equal to 1, so it will add 1 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and because if it's greater than 9, so it will if it's greater than 9, the loop will break. So I am outside the loop now. So now I will tell you something about for loop. So it's very simple. For I in range function starts from the index given, and it ends one index before the number at the end. So it will start from 0 and it will end at 8, not 9. Just remember that. So print the count is, and count. After the loop ends, it should print I am outside the loop now. So let's see what it does. It has done the same for but I have used a wrong variable here. I should have used I instead of count, because it used that count here and the value of count was 9. So I should have used I instead of, because I am initiating the for loop with I. This I mean any iteratable substance, so it will start from 0 now. Just look, so 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and I am outside the loop. So same function has been performed using both the loops. So I can give you one more example. For example, months is equal to so I'm going to make a list. I will tell you later about the list. January, February, March, and April, let's say, and I can write May and June. And if I want to print all the months, so I can write for I in months print I. So January, February, March, April, May, June has been printed. Next I will tell you something about functions and something about recursions. So and we will talk about functions in detail in our upcoming later videos as. So for example, if I want to make a function, I have already imported math. So function starts with word define. So area and radius. I am writing a function for to calculate area. It takes radius as an input, so this is known as input here. So area is equal to math.pi into radius raised to the power 2. This double star means raised to the power, and it should return area. So this is the function here, and it will return the value of area. So functions are very important. They can be used and reused. So let me try area, and let's use the radius, like use the value of radius to be 45. It will give me an area of this. I can use 65. It will give me this area. I can use 35, and the area would be this. So math dot, let's say if it has, oh, okay, it doesn't has area for circle. So I have wrote the function to find the area. Next we can write something about recursions. We will study about recursion. What are those? Recursion is a function, is a function which calls itself, so we call it a recursion. So recursion or recursive function is a function which calls itself. So for example, if I use this def and Fibonacci, and I write the number n, and remember we have to put these two after the def, and if n is equal to 1, if it is 1, return 1, right? So if n is equal to 2, so it should also return 1, turn 1. And if it is greater than 2, so in Fibonacci it should do return, and it should call the function itself, return, it should return Fibonacci n minus 1 plus Fibonacci n minus 2, and I have wrote the function here. So this is the function. It is giving me invalid value for f, or because I have not written n. I'm not comparing it, I was not comparing it with anything. So for example, for n in range 1 to 150, for n just let's say for 50, for even 5, so print n, and print n, and I can okay, separate it with Fibonacci, and I can call the function Fibonacci, and I have given the value of n here in the for loop. So let's say I run this code, and it's giving me again an error because I have not separated the string from the variable. So you can see it did it in no time, it did quickly. So but this time it's taking time, even though if it's only 50, but it's taking time. So there is a solution to this problem. I can clear the cookies here, and to do that I can use a library known as it means the code is still running, and it will take time for the code to run. So I can fast this code by from func tools import LRU underscore cache. It will clear the cache. So I am calling the class LRU cache. Max size, you can write anything. I am writing it 1000. Now it will will perform the task very quickly. Okay, so it's taking too much time. I'm stopping it here. So I have interrupted the function. Now okay, so let's see how fast it does. Oh my god, you can see it's done in no time. I can write 150, and it will do it immediately because it is clearing the cache. So you can see it is doing the task very quickly. But let's just do it for the 10. So okay, so let's move on to our next topic. So next we will discuss something about functions, and what are they, and something about string. So let's discuss it in detail here. So for example, let's discuss string methods. So name, as my name is Hassan Raza, I am writing my name Hassan Raza. So you can print the name here, Hassan Raza. You can check the length by len operator, and you can see it has the length of 11. You can do this by name dot lower, and all the character will be lowered. You can do this name dot upper, and all the character would be upper in this case. So I can check which functions are present by typing dir directory, and I can see what functions are there in my directory and what is in my directory. So these are in my directory. So Fibonacci, exit, degrees, and these variables are in my directory, message one, and these everything is in my directory. It will tell me what is in my directory. So let's discuss about functions in detail now, in details now. So I would say, if you are with me, very well done, I'm proud of you. Let's move toward this function. So def f, and it takes input, and in this case we haven't given it an input, and we will say pass. So pass mean it has to do nothing, so it did nothing as we asked it to do. So next I am going to def ping, and for example this is a function, so it should return Hassan, should return my name, or I can call this, but I can, there is a variable name already, so I have just named it ping. So return Hassan. So it should not also take any kind of input. So ping, and I'm not giving it any kind of input, but it returns us. So I can check dir math, what is there in math, and you can see it's telling me that these are there in. So as I have already done an example of the function, I have made the function of area. So this is the function of area. So in this case I just gave the input, gave the argument of radius. I passed one argument to the function here, and it returned the value of area. So after passing the value, it gave me the value of the area after performing all the calculation in the function. So next I can make a function for volume. So def volume and r, so it returns the volume of a sphere with r. So it returns the values. So v is equal to 4 by 3 into math dot pi into r raised to the power 3 cube, because I'm taking the volume, and it should return v, so it should return volume. So this is the function which I have written. You can reuse the function anytime. So volume, and let's say I give the value 5 as the r, so it is giving me this volume. I can change the value, I can put 7. I can use this function in some other mathematical calculations as well. For example, I use it, for example, if I type example, because I am giving you an example, and write volume 7 into, let's say, 2, and print the example. So let's see what happens. It has doubled the value of the volume, so I can reuse the function as I want. So and I have created this function. I can take help, so help and volume. So this is the, it tells me the what function does. I can write the comment here. So gives the volume, returns the volume. So this is the description here. There was some issue with the right. This here, this here. Oh, I think it's yeah, it's fine. So help, and now it tells that gives the, yeah, now it gives, yeah, extra. Now it gives me the, now it's telling me gives the volume. So you can get the help of any function by typing the command help. So in there are two type of arguments. Some are keyword arguments uh, and some are not keyword arguments. So we will talk about it later. For example, uh, in this case, if a keyword argument, or if I say, for example, I define a function def, and let's say I write centimeter, and I say feet is equal to 0, and inches is equal to 0 as well. I am telling that which uh, argument is which. If I don't write feet, or if I don't write anything, it will do its job. I can even write, if I write anything first, it will be feet, and if I write anything after it, it will be inches. And if I do, I can even name it, and I can sweep the position. Let's just do it. So inches to centimeter is equal to inches into 2.54, and for example, feet to centimeter will be feet into 12 into 2.54, and return inches to centimeter plus feet to centimeter. So this is my function. I can write cm, and I can write, if I write feet only, and it will assume the value of inches as 0, as given in this, as given here. So if I write feet is equal to, let's say, 5, so it is giving me the value. For example, I could have inches as 0, it doesn't make any difference. So if I write centimeter, inches 70, it will give me the value. It will assume feet is 0. I can write here 5 comma 0, it will still assume that, and I can flip the values. For example, I can write inches first, inches is equal to 0, and feet is equal to 5, it will give me the values here the same. For example, I can change the value 5 and 2, it will give me different value. these were the arguments which were uh, we know that we have given the names to these arguments. So let's just learn something about the strings here, and then we'll be moving forward with the other stuff and with other things. So I have already told that strings are data type which are characters, and for example I have to write my names, I will write them in quotes, and we can split the strings, we can cut them, we can slice them, we can do whatever we want to do. For example, string, for example my name is Hassan, so I can take the first index. Okay, so indexing starts from 0 in Python, it will be age, so one number is on 0 index. All right, so for example if I want to take the second index, I have to write 1, it will be a, and let's say I have to take the last index, I can write -1. -1 flips it over and takes the last index as its first index, so it's a, and I can still write -2, it will give me second index. From here it flips it over. So next we will be discussing about list and tuples, so let's discuss about them. So lists are ordered data. There are two ways of making list. So lists are ordered data, and there are two ways of making lists. So let's just learn them. For example, I have already used this keyword. So for example, list1 is equal to list. You can use the keyword list to make list, and there you go. You can just check the type list1. Here you go, it's a list. So, and other type is list method 2, second method, and it will be, you can just put this sign here and just check the type list2 and the list as well. So, and you can add things to the list by append. So for example, I want to add something to my list2 dot append, and let's say I want to append Hassan, my name. So I have appended this in list2. If I print list2, I will see Hassan here. So there you go, you can append anything in the list. So for example, I have a list of prime numbers, and you can make list by this 2, 3, and 5 and 7, and let's say 11. These are prime numbers. So if I print these prime numbers, I can append something in prime dot append. And if I want to append another number 13, I can 13. If I want to append prime dot append, for example 17 is also a prime number, and I can add prime. So you will see, there you go, 13 and 14 has appended in the list. So next we can splice the list. Splicing the list. So for example, prime, and you can splice the list by for example, I can splice it, and I want the element on third number, so 0, 1, 2 and third index. I can write for example 0th index, and I will get the first element. I can write the second index, and I will get the second. 0, 1, 2, this will be third index. So it also works in a similar way to the string indexing. For example, -1 will give you 17 here. So you can wrap around only once, it will generate an error. For example, if I do this this like -2, still it has given it. But if I write minus, unlike strings, if I write -8, an error, list index out of range. So you can only wrap around once, so you can only wrap around once, otherwise it will generate an error message. Yes. So but in strings you can wrap around as much time as you like. For example, I can use the string name and I can write minus, let's see it works. No, it doesn't work on the string either. So string -3, yeah, it works, but it doesn't work on the string either. So you cannot wrap around many times. So for example, prime, and if I'm indexing it, the first index is included but the last index is not included. So it includes the first index and exclude the last index. So last index is excluded. So for example, let's print this. So you can see 5, 7 and 11. So let's see, let me print prime again here. So index number 0, 1, 2, 5, 2, 3 and 4. So fifth index was missed. So, and there is a benefit of list. So you can have multiple lists in list and multiple type of data. So list 3 is equal to, for example, 125 true, it's a boolean, alpha man, alpha, or float 1.34, for example. And we can include another list in this list which should be 32 and false. So I can print list 3. As you can see that list 3 has been printed, and I can slice the list 3 as well. So list 3, and if I want to check the fourth element, it's 32 and false. If I check the second index, it will be alpha 0, 1, 2, but I can still sub index the list. For example, list 3, and we know fourth value is another list, and I can extract this value. This is 0th index, this is first. So if I want to extract false, I will write 1 here, and I have spliced the sub list as well. So you can also combine the lists as well. For example, I can add list 3 plus prime. So I can write combine list is equal to list 3 plus prime. So combined list. So let's see. So this is and this was the list, first list, list 3, and this is the list of prime. So this is the list. So you can add the lists as well. So you can combine the lists, you can add the lists, and you can do whatever you want to do with the list. And you can for example, if I want to see 125 in combined list, it will tell me true. So, and let's say I say Hassan in the for combined list, and there is no Hassan the combined list. So for example, so I have written the because the shouldn't be, so false, because Hassan is not combined list. And for loop also work for I in, let's say, prime print I. So I can So for loops also work with the list, and you can perform add the list. You can do multiple things with the list. You can multiply the list. For example, I have prime numbers again, and if I want to multiply prime numbers with the every number with 2, I want to make it twice. So I want to make it double. So this is where our first list ended, and this is the new list. So I have doubled the number. We can do mathematical operations the list as well. We can slice the list, for example prime, and if I write this, it means everything will be it. If I write start from 2, it will print everything after the index 2. If I end at -1, it won't include -1. If I end at -2, it won't include the last 2 indexes here. So you can so you can delete something from the list. For example, del prime, and I want to delete the 0th index from the prime, so I want to move it. So let me print prime, and let's see if 2 is there. No, 2 has been removed. So you can also extend it by you can also add elements in your list by the command extend. So and you can add some list in your list, and that would be permanent. So you can actually, this is del works on the index, but you can remove something. For example, prime dot you want to remove, and if you want to, let's say, remove the number 11, you can move it, and now you will see 11 won't be here. So you can okay, so this was all about list, and the string can be converted in the list. For example, string s and spam. So string s, or even I can write string is equal to list. I have converted it into list. Let's print the string. So a list spam. So you can convert it into a string, a list. So I am studying. So for example, I am studying. So you can convert it into a list, but this has broken everything down. I can do another thing that would be really easy. That is, I can write, I can split it. For example, s dot split, and it will convert it into a list. So, and it will convert it by element by element. So here the it has converted it into a list and element by element. So delimiter was space in this case. Okay, so let's talk about delimiter as well. So delimiter, for example, so s is equal to sam or sam. So in this case, I am putting the delimiter as this thing, which is of course a delimiter. So string is equal to s dot, I want to split my string based on the delimiter. So delimiter, and let's print the string. It will only be sam. So I have split it based on the delimiter. So there is a difference between list and string. So you can perform many operation on the list which are not available for the string. For example, I can write A is equal to Hassan, B is equal to Hassan as well. I can say A in B, it will tell me true. But for example, I say A is equal to 1, 2, and B is equal to, this is a list, 1, 2, and let's say 1, 2, and I say A in B in this case, it will say false. So this is the difference between list and a string. And next we will talk about tuples. So tuples are a list, are not immutable. You can see we can add, del, remove, do whatever we want to do with the list, but tuples are immutable. We cannot change tuple. So tuples are very, very important. And let's work on tuples for and you cannot change tuples. So for example, I am taking the example from the list. List is the prime number. So this is my list, and for example, I am taking perfect pairs, and the tuples should be enclosed in a square bracket. 1, 4, 9, 16. So let's print the perfect squares. Let's see what is its type. So its type, and it should be, so it's a tuple cannot be modified. So you can use a for loop on both. So for I in prime print p I, that for I in perfect squares print I, and it will also print the print both. So let's check the available methods for the both. So print list methods, print, let's separate them both, dir prime numbers, and print 125 stars here, multiply it with 1 stars. So 125 stars will be, you will see what print tuple method and print dir let's say perfect square, because that's our here in this case. So as you can see, the list has a lot more methods available to it as compared to tuples. So you can see it here. So let's import system, let's import sys, and print dir system. What functions do our system has? There's a lot of functions. See everything here. So okay, so and we can get help print, for example, print help sys dot get size of, let's say. So what does it tell? See what does it tells us. The size, return the size of an object in bytes. So you can see that let me show you something. If I make list and tuple same, but we will see that list has lot less list occupy more space than tuples. For example, list example is equal to 1 2 3 name, okay, and true. And tuple example for example 1 2, I can copy the same and you can see the difference between two. I am copying the same here. So print, so list size and sys dot get size of list example in bytes, because it gives us in bytes. Okay, so tuple size, okay, we have tuple example. So let's see size of both. You can see that there the size is same for the both, but I think I have made a okay, list size tuple size. I have list tuple, but I have made this list instead, because tuple should have this around it. So now you can see the difference. The tuple size is less than the list size. So the calculations in list are slow and the calculation with tuples are faster. So tuple assignment is very easy. For example, for example, you are doing it for a survey and you wrote the values 27 and USA and true. So you can type the age of the person as the 0th index. So age of the person survey, and its 0th index would be the age of the person. And for example, country, you want to see from which country the person belongs. It will be the first index, US. For example, knows Python, so it will be the true in this case. You know, and if I let's say print anything like age, so it will give me age. If I print country, it will give me the country of the person, USA. So this is how we can assign values. So this was all about the list method. Now let's move toward our last thing, which is dictionaries. Dictionaries and dictionaries are very useful. For example, if you have user ID, let's say user ID 209, and your, for example, message is, so for example, Saru Mo, or your message is I am a human, or I am a robot. So and your language is, for example, machine language, and for example there is date time which you, or you can location, for example, and you are assigning every value by value, and location is in the coordinates. So for example this is your location. So it would be difficult for you to manage this kind of data, or this kind of, someone post something on social media, and you want to keep all the information. So you can do this by doing this, for example post, and you can, or you can, you can dictionary, you can make dictionary by using this sign. It will automatically make dictionary. You can check the type dictionary, so it will tell you, yeah, it's a dictionary, dict. And you can even type dict before anything, and it will convert it in, for example, post, and this sign makes dictionary, and this is the user ID here. This is very important. User ID is 209, and then again you have to write the message. You have to put this, I'm a robot, and you can make dictionaries in dictionaries as well. So let's say I have to put language here, and let's say it's machine language. So it's a dictionary now. I can print post. You can see that it's a dictionary. So I can separate the elements from the post, for example post, and I want to see the language of the person. Language, it should give me machine language, yes. Post, I can check the user ID, for example I want to see the user ID, and the user ID, this is 209. So it's working. Another way is of making, for example post 2 is post 2 second post is dict message, and the this method I just don't have message 1. I don't want to overwrite. It's cool, and the language, all L here, and for example language is English 2. There you go. So I can post 2, and I can extract the language here, it's English. It's working, and I can extract the message 1 here, it will say cool. So message 1, it's cool, right? Isn't it? Yeah, it's cool. So but for example if I write post 2, and if I give it a wrong key, because this is key and this is its value, so in dictionaries we have either keys or values. For example if I give it a wrong key, for example key, and there is no keyword in the dictionary, so key error. Or if I, because there is no word key, if I say Hassan or Hus, so there is no such word in our dictionary post 2, so it will give you an error. So you can, if for example time in post 2 print post 2, if there is time there, you can is time, you can print that. Else, you can use if else to avoid this condition. Print nothing. You can see that okay, so time is not there. So if time should have been defined as key, so yeah. Okay, so nothing, because there is no key. There is another way to avoid such things. So try and accept method. So try print and accept which error we want to hide. So key error, so just key error and print nothing. So it will do the same. Let's see it does. Yes, it does. So you can also use for loop for key in post dot keys is a built-in thing. So value would be post, key would be given to every post. So print, we have to print both key, what key we are using, is equal to, and the value which we got. User a for loop is working here. We can use another method for key value in post dot items and print key. Same thing here, I can print it in concise way, so it will do the same task. So this was all about the dictionaries, which I have explained to you very good way, so you can practice all of these, and this is a good kickstart to Python. In the next video I will talk about some very interesting and important stuff. So thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be attaching this file. I will be posting this file on my GitHub repository. You can download the complete file, you can practice it, and if you feel any kind of hesitation in doing something, you can directly comment below and I will answer your question. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video and recommend to others. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, take care.